Okay, there we go. This looks pretty good. How we doing? Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Almost. There we go. Okay, my preview wasn't showing up yet, so there we go. Ooh, it's been a week. Ugh. Yesterday was it's quite eventful. So now I can rest by not resting and having to do more stuff. More stuff for you guys. So here we go. Okay, after a long week, just keep going. Just here we go. I will rest tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Been so tired. Been doing a lot of stuff. Welcome, Night Shadow. Good to see you. Hi, Cookie. Great to see you. Okay. Hopefully, Mr. Robo, please. I suppose I can scroll. It gave me a red link. I'm not sure what's up with that. Oh, I just click retry, and that worked. Yep, that looks okay. Thanks for that. I was like, well, maybe a red link looks, you know, is that the new update? I don't know. Just assumed it'll be. But thanks. Okay. I was like, well, maybe red links are red now. Welcome, skills is Flare. Welcome. Alrighty, so welcome. Back here, back in 3D Blender world. But yeah, welcome, hello everyone. Yeah, you might have caught it, but this week has been pretty tough. Some big shakeups at work that a little disappointing and a little heartfelt. So it's like, okay, well, okay. It's just a lot of emotional stuff going on. I'm okay. It's someone else, a coworker. It's like, okay. Yeah, so we had a good farewell party to one of my coworkers, but like she's been there for like 15 years or something. So it's like, okay. I've only been working there for about a year and a half. So it's like I didn't quite know her as much as everyone else, maybe. So it's like, but still felt all the emotions that happened. So but yeah, worked my butt off this week to get everything going. Doing all the trophy engraving. So but yeah, I'm just tired. Yesterday I did a bunch of physical labor stuff. Or just kind of standing around and putting some masks on some glass. So we put this like red protective film on the more fancy pieces. So these are like real glass little wards, and to get the names engraved on them, with this red reflective tape on it that's sticky. And so you cut out a piece of sheet and cut that around the glass shape, and then yeah, so it'll be ready for the laser to then cut through the tape, but not through the glass, and then using sandblasting technique to have that sand be the glue that becomes the new engraving. So it's a big process, and it's yeah. So I did my part, but yeah, I just did stand on my feet and doing all those maskings and holding them up, and it doesn't sound like much, but when you do that for like 4 or 5 hours straight, it's like, okay. It adds up. So welcome. How you guys doing? Commander Dragon. Okay, thank you. There's so many vowels I was trying to figure out there. And when stuff. Welcome. Hi. I think my music is looping, so let me figure that out real quick. Hang on. Repeat off. heard this before. Cool. Okay. Let's see. So, again, this is Blender 3D engine, mostly for animation. I think at some point it was pretty good for game making or something crazy. But yeah, mostly 3D modeling, and now I can do 2D stuff. With this Derpy on the left is a 2D drawn object. You can see that I got all the brush strokes on it. And then this Derpy down here is made out of polygons. So it's a mathematical version. I've also animated it a little bit just to do a quick animation test to see if I can do like some real-time animation where I can like in real time kind of puppet it. I think it's stuck in some other mode. But yeah. So I moved it around and then see if I can have this happen. So look at her go. And I gotta walk off stage. Yep. So figured that I can do that instead of like making every single keyframe and have like figure it out, because I want it to be kind of, it's gonna be a shadow puppet show, so I want there to be a big screen and then have all these shadow puppets kind of dance around. So to make it more lifelike and realistic, I thought it'd be easier if I can like have real-time animation, kind of like me in a bottom right, like me, to make that a little bit easier and trying to keyframe all of this, to make it more fluid, So it took a couple tries. Probably had to pretend like it's a real puppet, but that worked pretty well as a test. A lot of this whole bunch of stuff here is just a bunch of testing stuff. I do a bunch of R&D for a lot of big projects, especially if it's something I've never done before, if I want to do a new technique. Like I figured out like whether or not, certain engines, this render engine in Blender, whether or not cycles will work better. And so you get pros and cons between each of them. Like I get the transparency where I can see that this is now blue and this is darker blue. Then I see the you see how speckled it gets. The image texture one, which should look like this, doesn't get that same color, or maybe it's just tinted through the tinted paper that I got. Oh, it's back-faced. Ooh, Cycles is slowing down me a little bit here. I wish I turned off denoising. Color. If I change this to green. Yeah, oh yeah, okay. It's a tint. So if I bring this back to like white or something. So when it's full of white, it's still tinted at white. But I don't want it to be black, because then it becomes, everything's black. There's nothing. Even if it's transparent, it's a little transparent black, but then it still doesn't show it. Even at a normal. So there's a lot of things that's like, I'm trying to figure these out, and it's like, well, that doesn't work. Well, what does work? And it's like, so unfortunately for right now, I'm thinking the plan to make this work is to cheat. I know. Is that I can bring this back to Eevee just to make everything smooth while it's on stream. I can cheat by removing the screen and then, like, to hide it, I can remove the screen and then add it in post. Like I can add in like Premiere, After Effects, or some VFX software. I can add in an element and then make that look exactly how I want it to get that same effect. Hello, Helio. Welcome. Good to see you. Hello. Wow. Wow. Hello. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cheat because I can't get the best of both worlds where I want. Because the problem is that the plane works well in this Eevee engine, where it can do. I get the grease pencil there's a 2D image that could work well, but then I don't get the polygons. But if I do cycles, then obviously it's going to take a little bit longer to render. But then I lose my, if I render this out, then I don't get the grease pencil to appear through the screen. And it's like, that's kind of the whole point. Also, this gets transparent. Why? That's kind of a recap from a couple streams. Was it the last stream or so ago? I think I did a whole bunch of stuff last stream. Yeah, I think I went through everything. So innovative fashion making this work. I think I'm gonna have to cheat and add in the stop loading. I'm trying to cancel it while it's rendering. So today I like to work on the storyboards. Let me get that up. Maybe it didn't crash. That's good. I know if this was Flash, it'll just crash immediately. Okay. I got it on my phone. Let me see. I got it in text, so that'll be fun. Turn my music down a little. 3:10 a.m. I am sorry. What am I up to? I'm working on this. Trying to work on my movie a little bit. Work has been pretty tricky. a lot of work. So, but as we're losing a coworker at work, I might have to do more work. So that'll be good. That means I'll be doing my full-time work, more stuff to do. So happy about that. So a lot of times I get sent home because I run out of stuff to do. I have a select amount of lasers and engraving stuff I can't do. So if it means that I can do maybe that other person's stuff, or at least get some more stuff, or do some cross training with someone else and stuff, it's like maybe I'll be able to be at work longer. So on average, I've only been working like 4 or sometimes only 3 days a week. So, just for my, own sanity, I think it'd be good to, keep working. So I'm not always having to take time off. I think it's important to just keep a rigid schedule. But let's see. What I want to do is probably make a couple collections. Like, so let's make this a little cleaner. I'm going to turn this down as far as that looks good. Let's see. Watch that solo strip. I'll be your nice ASMR sleepy time stream boy here. So I'm gonna make a couple collections just so I can keep everything organized. We're gonna make a meta one for my cameras and lights, just so I can keep knowing. And I can make these into, they're basically just folders. They can be used for other operations. Like you can make, like if you have a plane and you want a bunch of hairs, you can say, instead of a specific object, you can do a collection of objects within a collection. And say, I want to use this meta collection as my hair particle distributor. All of these, I didn't really name them because I didn't really need to. Let me just make a new collection for these R&D objects. And then not really needing these. Just put everything in here. And then restart from what I need. So I could just click the meta one and everything that I want to be seen from those are now turned off. Turn these, I think, what is this? This is render, and then whether or not it's disable and renders and or disable and viewports. So I can turn it off for this for now. So this will be my Derpy one there. If you could just kind of pull some of these out that I need, my plane. Which again, I might not need my plane here. So this is gonna be my my actual screen, and then let's see. This is my back screen. I know this is the most important part of this, but this keep it organized as you go is always good. Okay. So now I can hide. Actually, make a new collection. I want it outside. Yeah, sure. That's probably easier. For my screens. Let's see. Might have to sneeze, but welcome, Mr. Vlogger. Sorry. That just came out of nowhere. I'm doing okay. I was just fine a second ago. Back screen. Okay. I'm gonna be all drippy. I have a Kleenex back here. Let me get that. Oops, almost lost my pen holder. Excuse me. Good thing you can't see this. You can just hear me. Okay. Leslie, thank you. Screens. So now I can just turn these guys off, and I can turn both of those screens off, and I can turn these guys off. Now they're in collections. Anyway. So I can hide all of these. And so now I can do whatever I want with these. Get little groups. Okay. So now I want new collection, and let's make this the storyboard. And I'll start adding objects into that. I'll call this R and B. Okay. So I have a little story. So let me just read that, I guess. Got on my phone, and I got that screen holder. This little gooseneck little holder, so I can rearrange where I want that to be. Okay. I'll just read it. Start on owl, wake up and fly to Derpy on a hill with pumpkins. She trips and falls with the pumpkin lands in... I can't spell apparently. I wrote hams into her head, but I think I meant jams. The pumpkin lands and jams into her head. It's stuck. She goes into town and everybody is afraid. Derpy gives a knife and cuts into the pumpkin, making a jack-o'-lantern face. She haunts the town ponies. She somehow, this is where I need to figure out, she somehow falls and the pumpkin falls off. But Derpy doesn't have a head. Her head pops up from her neck. The end. Yeah. How's that? And welcome, Judd. So we'll be trying to figure out that kind of a story, I guess. It's a mix of Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and Headless Horseman kind of style stuff. Is my main inspirations. So get this going here. So what I can do, I'll try and make it into a short, a YouTube short, so it'll be like one minute or less. I'll try that. It is gonna be old-fashioned, good old-fashioned Derpy short. But it'll be done in a shadow puppet style, so that'll make it fresh, hopefully. So what I'll need is a grease pencil, blank, and then go inside it. Draw mode. Get my tools. Draw. Get my GP layer, my opacity, don't use lights. Colors. Oh yeah, I need to have two of these. Probably just want to get rid of. I'll just get rid of that for now. And then so I can have more room for this now. So this will be my stroke, and this will be my colors. And because I'm left-handed, I can do this. I know we did that for the num. This is great pumpkin derpy hooves. That'd be great. Yeah, that could be the title of it. Okay. So let's just make a new color because that's always easy. And I can always change these colors later. Let me just get something so it'll be a stroke. These are my layers. So let me see. Instead of this, let's do. Is that what I want? Animation, double sheet, graphic, non-linear. Try to think if there's a different animation thing, but I think this might work. Okay. Let's see if I can just draw something and it does not work because of some reason. Can't see all my tools either. I think I need to turn. Maybe I can't see it in. Oh, I couldn't see it in wireframe mode. This is gonna get hard. Okay. Do I want radius to be? No, that's not. Forgot how to do this. That's not good. Probably should have. I know how to do this first. I'm wondering why. It only shows up sometimes. Uh-oh. Oh, there they are. Oh, Blender. Oh, Blender. What the? Is it in? Am I drawing on? Let's see. Let's do for the 3D cursor from the cursor. Show me that. This is what I tried to learn from last stream. I'm confused why it doesn't show everything still. I think because this object might have backface culling. Probably just want to get rid of that as well. Get rid of my screens. Yeah. Now I don't know where I'm supposed to be, but I guess just hopefully it being in the center will help. It's still not working. Let me draw something. Well, I'll figure out by doing all of my figure outs here. It's very intuitive. I want to start with a new grease pencil at this point. Let's see. How would I go about fixing this? Where is all my stuff too? Where's my camera? Okay, so my camera's this way. I want to look Y. I want to look negative Y. And let's put you in a cursor to world origin. Let's make a new blank thing here. This is why I started early. I wanted to leave some room for fun stuff like this. To see if I can know how to do this. Okay. So blend, regular, opacity 100. Don't use lights. Keyframes, custom colors. Be a stroke, be a line. Go into draw mode. I want to draw with a pencil. Let's see if anything here. Yeah, these don't do anything. Okay, stroke placement. Add object coarser. 3D cursor, surface, strict strokes to outer strokes. I mean, I want negative Y, so I guess that can work. If not, I don't know. And then I'll just keep playing with different functions here till we get it. Okay. I'll go. Ooh. Hello, British Drone 3. Welcome. Let's see. So hopefully I'm in draw mode with withdraw. And I like to draw. Oh. There's some lines. Okay. Huh. Let's see. Female material. Oh yeah, this was a weird thing here. Yeah. Why is it purple? Oh, now it's green. Why does it have a gradient? It shouldn't be using lights. I'm not sure why it's... Oh, look at that. I'm going just straight down, and it's going around the origin of the... Okay, so that doesn't work. Let's try... What? It still wants to make a circle. Let's turn that off. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's like I was stuck with this use guides. Enable speed guides makes it go into a circle. Turn that off, now I can draw. But it's also not full strength. I can turn this off, and that makes it full strength. Unfortunately, I didn't quite practice between streams enough to be able to do this. Okay. Let's go erase mode and erase it. And so now, if I do this, I get a stroke. Just that simple, guys. Let me get my screen just so I can... Now if I go back into grease pencil, draw, now it doesn't work. You have to go into object mode. I want this to be the center. Gonna select grease pencil. Go to draw mode. Draw. Everything should still be the same. So now if I draw, I wanted to see the other object so I can know where my screen space is. I guess if I could just line it up and then turn my screen off. Oh, what? Okay, so if I turn this on, oh, it's just hiding it a little bit. So maybe the screen is at a certain position, or is that an angle that's hiding it? I wonder if X-ray view here would work. This one? Okay, X-ray view, that works. Now if I draw, it's not letting me not have that happen. Okay, so I can draw the best when it's that's working perfect when it's in material view. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. I should be able to animate this maybe. Or yeah, what was the button to get the multiple frames? Do I have to be in 2D animation to get... So what's this? Dope sheet grease pencil. Okay. So now go back to layout. Dope sheet grease pencil. There we go. Okay, so now I get my keys and my layers and all my summary stuff that'll show up once I grease pencil, draw, and now I can have my layers and I can do my animations. That's all there is to it. You know, I was thinking for a second that, you know, Blender has so many tools and stuff that it might rival, you know, Toon Boom or something, you know, or especially Eclipse Flash, but yeah. It's at the same kind of learning curve, I guess, as Toon Boom, where you gotta really know what you're doing. You gotta already be an animator before trying out Toon Boom. So with Flash, you can sort of just kind of wing it and just hope that you kind of get to it. But yeah, with Toon Boom, you gotta know animation before getting into that to understand anything. But Blender, apparently, you just gotta figure out how to navigate Blender weird menus. And I hear that the next version is gonna be they're gonna change. I know that the modifiers are gonna be in a different menu. So instead of being able to see everything at this one time, they're gonna put them into little folders, so you can only see like the form, you know, color, generate, and modify as folders, and then you gotta select in those and then search through there. And it's like, why is that better? And just be able to see everything at once, unless they add a whole bunch more and you gotta organize it. But oh well, it's kind of yeah. Let's see. Yep, this is a Blender. I got the description. In the description, I got that I say that this Blender 3.6 something's LTS, long time service. So anyway, storyboardo. Let's go. Start up on an owl. So I gotta draw some sort of an owl, I guess. I'll just make. It'll be probably like kind of closed mouth or something. I'm just gonna try these really quick, just so I can get. Because we're already kind of late, I guess, before I wanted it to be. So this will just be. I don't even know what owls look like, so something like that, probably. And we'll start on some sort of maybe tree or something as I try to figure this out. E is not eraser. What is it? I just gotta use the tools here. Okay. So if I go to here and I want, let's see, new layer. Move the layers up and down. I can insert it maybe into keyframe. Let's see. How did I do it before? Where I want to. If I just start drawing, does it delete it? No. Let's turn keyframe on, draw, and then it deletes it. And then I can use one of these. Onion skin. Onion skin seems to be on. Have I had my fan on the whole time? It's kind of low, but I can turn it off. One on every frame. View and render. Fade. Befores are red, afters are green, which probably means I need to change this to like a blue, which is harder to see. Maybe just kind of keep it white, maybe. Don't want to get copyrighted. That's a good idea. For having it be named the same. It's a parody name of it. If I was like trying to say like, hey, it's a what do we even call it? If I call it my cartoon, a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, then that'd be like, hey, wait a minute. But I think because we're going to call it the It's a Great Pumpkin Derpy Hooves, I think that's probably going to be okay. And I don't know why my onion skins aren't showing up there. Oh, it's showing up in that mode. Not in this one where I want it to be in. But if I draw in here, then it doesn't work. So, oh well. Great. So I have to be in this mode to see my lines here. I can barely see it. Opacity all the way on. L frames. I could just kind of make them a little bit darker. So now if I go back here, go to frame 2, erase this line. Okay, I guess I can draw in here. Actually, I can. Okay. I just don't like this weird gray background here. Oh well. Let's see. I don't want to move, so I'm just gonna have to keep it consistent. There was a thing, like apparently in some old Flash, it was like a software before, like an earlier version than when I started. Like I learned in CS6, but I guess in an early version, Flash worked more. Oh man, it's just slow. I can see it's 5 or something below. The way that the brushes worked was that it would only, the strength of the brush would be determined by how close you are. So if I zoomed in, then the stroke width would be relative to the size that I would be at. So it's like you have to like kind of plan it out, like at what view or what zoom you would want to draw at. I'm seeing that I'm kind of slow with my VTube's kind of glitching out here. I wonder why. I hope it's not anything too major, but yeah, I can see that I'm kind of stuttering. So if you see stuttering, that's why. Okay. It's only when I'm in this mode, but I can't not be in this mode to see the. Great. I just do it like a regular animator now, and stream quality is fine. Okay. Hopefully, now I'm good. That's lit. My output's looking good now. On my preview. Okay, here we go. I'll wake up. That's how far we got today in like a half hour. 40 minutes. I got Owl wake up. Okay, frame 3. Time now, wake up and fly to Derpy on a hill with pumpkin. Okay. I'm gonna have the L. This is how some animators digitally would animate, so because I got this grid, it kind of helps me a little bit here. I can kind of go be like, okay, well, it's about on this portion here. Should you worry? No. If anything, you should worry if I'm causing any seizures or anything kind of actually disrupted to you or anything like that. Um, but yeah, don't worry about it. I'll have like a whole month to figure this out anyway. So don't you worry. And then I'll wake up and then flies, and then we'll have another keyframe now where it'll kind of. How should we do this? Because I want like in the hill, like Derpy and the pumpkin to be back here. So I want to get in the distance back here. So I could have okay. It's okay, Judd. Could have. So I'm trying to think, like, I have to think not like an animator, but like as a shadow puppet, or in this case, to figure this out, is that I could have, kind of fly. Maybe it could kind of turn its back, and then, because I can cheat with the shadow puppets, is that I can like close its eyes on, I can flip it around and have it be not symmetrical. Like if I have holes for the eyes, like if you punch out a hole for the eyeball, and then if you flip it around, you should still have a whole eye hole. But I could have it so it could change and have it look different when you flip it. So I can do stuff like that, and maybe this hill just kind of is really in the back, and then it slowly comes towards the front. Be a little object or something. Okay. And so that would mean that it would kind of flip, let's say here. The tree could like kind of go down, and then on this frame we'll get this same owl, but then oops, let's go with it. And then so now we flip and the tree is just falling downward, and then this hill I can't even hear music. Of course, it'd have like its stick up its butt or something like that, and then this will just kind of go up and down maybe. And then the only difference would be here is that maybe it just kind of is a little bit lower. Is what I mean. I'm not really gonna worry about my drawing skills here. And then eventually we'll get to maybe the hill a little bit lower. And then we'll get Derpy and the pumpkin. And the owl. Maybe we can like fly up out of here. There you go. And then maybe it could be a little larger, but I don't know. I don't know if I can move things. If I can like loop, or no, I can do edit mode and then select. All right, can I select these points? And then I can do whatever I want. So I can do that whenever I need to later on. Okay. Okay, so start up on owl. No. Okay. Start up on owl. Wake up and fly to Derpy on a hill. That's all we got. Okay. And then Derpy trips and falls with the pumpkin. The pumpkin lands and jams into her head. It's stuck. She goes to town. Okay. That's all we gotta do. Did I plan how to do this? Not quite. So, if you guys have any ideas as I go, that's okay. Besides just the title, which honestly I don't need to exactly care about that right now. No offense, but it's like, yeah. She maybe kind of goes on top, like flies and gets on top, and then that's enough of a rotation, and then it just kind of, then they fall down a hill or something. Again, we can always go back through, you know, when animating or anything later. We can change things up. Should I change the color speed? Is that better? Is that more contrast? Is that easier to see? Rather than black on gray. Oh, there you are. Ice stream elements. Okay. Okay. Cool. And then next frame. It's a tomato now. I don't know why it's adding this over here sometimes. Okay. And then we'll just kind of have, I don't know how much I'll be able to really, you know, add these different shapes and stuff when they're like made out of paper cutouts, you know? And then land on it. Like I only get like one chance of these pictures here. So have her kind of over here, maybe a little lower. Edit mode. Rotate it. It's a little annoying how you have to go back and forth through a lot of different menus and stuff, but oh well. Bop. This makes you one pumpkin. Happy pumpkin get. And then pumpkin starts to kind of roll, and then she goes like, oh no. And then we'll just kind of draw it, just kind of rotate. Maybe it could be tall. Rotate. And then it's just going. And then we'll swap out to a wider shot where it's this much larger hill, and then we see a tiny little derpy on a pumpkin. And then I'm just gonna draw a couple just to get going on here. And then bop bop bop. And then another That's not right. Go back. Ends around there. And then, yeah, okay. If I need to, I can do a cleanup of this or as I figure things out, you know? Sun's about to rise. Okay, have a good day, night. Hello, Helio. That's great. Okay. See you next time. Thank you. Next shot is same as the first one or so, but then we'll just kind of have it be zoom up. We can have that as a blank, and then we would have to have Derpy already inside the pumpkin at this point, so we'll have Derpy's body and then the pumpkin. Should figure out how to draw a pumpkin head. So this is already like that, and then we just get the explosion here, body, and we get this pew pew, bomb. And then one now of her getting up and realizing that, whoa, my head is now pumpkin, and then one of her freaking out, like some sort of shaking or something. Oh. Okay. And the fun part is with all the shadow puppet stuff, I don't have to really animate, like her arms don't have to like move. Well, I could like have some physics or something to kind of like, as I shake her around, maybe I could have her legs be separate pieces and then they can wiggle around or something. But I don't have to like keyframe it too much now, so that'll be nice. Shakes and then runs off, and then goes face forward. Zoom over there off screen. She goes into town and everyone's afraid. We can have other characters. There's nothing, you know. And then another frame. Right now, Derpy's here. And then same thing with Derpy over here. Up. And then these guys all freak out. They kind of wiggle or something. This guy turns around too. They go, ah. And then they all run off. Zhoo. And then that leaves just Derpy to go, oh no. I can't believe it. I'll definitely have to do a cleanup or figure some of this stuff out later. But it just kind of shows you that, you know, I can still kind of visually tell a story without having the most finest of art skills. Anyway, okay. Derpy lands into the suck. She goes to town and everyone's afraid. Derpy gets a knife and cuts it in the pumpkin, making a face. Okay. So I don't know how much space I'll need, but yeah, okay. Cause I'm sure like a lot of I'm just trying to time it out. Like, should I add another shot where she's like, oh, I can't believe it, or maybe she just kind of like turns around or something. Yeah, she can like kind of molt back and be like, oh man. And then she just kind of goes. She just kind of walks back, walks off screen maybe, goes, oh. She would kind of walk in and everyone goes, oh, okay. Next frame. I was thinking about this. I mean, this is going to be the scary part of it. This will be the spooky, scary horror part where I want it to still be fun, but also it's like I just want it to be scary at some point. So it's like I want her to like kind of visually jab a knife into her pumpkin head and then carve off a happy little face. So I wanted it to be kind of intense, but still kind of goofy. So I'm trying to now really think about what I want for that or how to set it up. So maybe I was about to just cut to a kitchen knife or something. So you get a knife, and then Derpy goes and then gets her hoof, and maybe a little knot there. So then she grabs it, and then I need a new frame of it. I can just put her hand on a knife, and that might be enough. Gee. So there's boop, and then she grabs it, and then this is where I want it to be intense. So we'll get the full view of this. So we got her and a pumpkin, and then she just gets the knife and jams it into her head, and maybe little pumpkin bits, I guess, that kind of come out or something. It'll be like a poof, you know, like a poof, you know, poof. And then she'll kind of like slowly carve into her head. And then it'll slowly make this slit, and then she'll go around and make the whole eyeball shape here, and then jams it into the other eye. So now this is an open hole. It'll be like where the light can shine through. So it'll be like an open shape. But I don't think I'm gonna put like her little eyeball inside it. Probably just be an open hole or something. Just to show that she'll do the other eye here. It looks kind of more creepy that it's kind of all jelly when you kind of like flip through all these. And then which makes a spooky face. myself. Just to put a knife away on this frame. So yeah, poof, 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 poof. Maybe just kind of like one little like, I still got it with the knife here. Okay, that's the scary part out. And then she unintentionally haunts the town ponies. She somehow falls and a pumpkin falls off. But Derpy doesn't have a head. Okay. Trying to figure the rest of this story out, because I thought up until this point with the story wise. I know like the Headless Horseman part, that's like my final gag. But I'm wondering how much more I need to do. Like, do I need the extra part of her going back and haunting all the other ponies? Or I could do like the SpongeBob thing where the SpongeBob Halloween one, where it's like, how'd you make your head into, you know, SpongeBob's wearing like a bed sheet. It's like his head is round. And it's like, but you're a square. Like the silhouette of your head shouldn't be underneath the bed sheet. Shouldn't be, you know, round. And then they took off the sheet, and it's like, yeah, I just kind of cut off my head a little bit, and it's like supposed to his brain. Something like that. That was in my original intention, but I wanted something like that. The kind of feelings. Maybe yeah, she'll have to go back into town. Maybe like yeah, maybe the story is that she thinks like maybe if I can see what I'm doing and maybe people will accept me now. It's like, yeah, look at me, I'm happy. Look at all that. I'm okay. Can I be friends with you now? But it's like even scarier. It just gets more scary if we're taking her head off. Okay, so we'll go back to town. The other ponies, and they can wear costumes and whatever. And they're doing trick or treats and stuff, and then Derpy comes in. How did I even draw that? And then Derpy with her happy her happy face kind of comes in, and then yeah, and then the other ponies all kind of look at her, and they're like, whoa. Probably should just, well, hang on. Where's even my mouse? Blender crashed. Let's see how much I broke. So how you guys doing? Oh, okay. Oh no. You want to know where we are? Where to save last? We're back here. I'll do it off screen to figure this out and finish it. That's unfortunate. So, okay. So we'll just leave a little bit of time here. And then, because I'll be able to like rearrange all these frames. But yeah. I think I just didn't. I wasn't saving as I was going. Oopsie. Here we go. And give it my chat. I can do it better now. Exactly. That's the scariest thing of all, is losing progress. Womp womp. I can do better now. Thank you. I two-tailed. That's why I'm waving. I two-tailed. Okay. Let's pretend that some of that happened. I know what the frames look like. I could probably take the stream. I guess it crashed again. Okay. Hang on. Now I can do that again. What if it's running out of something? Let me make this a little smaller before I... Okay. I'm just resizing the screen, the Blender screen. That's what I broke last time. Okay. Yay. Let's try that again, huh? Let's see. Can't see what I'm doing. I want my screens. Okay. Oh, I can save it to screens to see what that looks like. Okay. I think the screen is at an interesting, or I can move this in 3D space. Let's do that. If I can't see that, then I might be able to. Why is that up and down? All right. Anyway, this is spud arm. That's how I can track my hand, so I can see my little derpy hand match. So that's that's what that's showing up. Okay. If it happens one more time, I might have to call her and do something else. That's gonna be unfortunate because obviously, if I keep crashing, then that's not fun for any of us. Okay, be good, Blender. What we're gonna do is click this, and we're gonna change to wide dimension just a bit, and we can see that that's all going. Okay. So, save. And we're gonna play nice, right? Okay. So what we're gonna do is pretend that happened, and then we'll have let's try them a little larger here. We'll just draw 2 to be easy. And then so I can always add him in later. We'll have Derpy. Come on in. I can learn how to draw triangles. Ah! And then she'll come in. And then she'll be like, like that. Save. I'm gonna save on every picture now. Okay. Story is at the end she comes in and says like hello. And everyone's like, well, premise is I haven't thought about this particular shot yet fully out, so she somehow falls and the pumpkin falls off. I need to somehow have them maybe like kind of like go up and, because this is all gonna be a performance, so I have to figure out like maybe they all just kind of move up and down. They all maybe like they could like kind of maybe accept her for like a little bit, and then the pumpkin falls off and then they scamper off, and then we get the last like Looney Tunes look at the camera and be like whoop, oh, and then circle small out, swirl out or something. I don't even know what it's called. When you get the whoop whoop like a Mario World when you beat a level. Okay. So we'll have this, and then we'll do the same thing, But now they all kind of... You can all kind of maybe like kind of go up and... Kind of say that they all kind of go up and dance. These little... I like drawing like arrows like this, because that's easier than... That's not that bad, but it's like a little much. So like, it's just easier to draw something like that, and that's just my shorthand, like a little bit and a little dot at the end, so I kind of know the diagonals of what's going on. They kind of all go up and down and dance, and then that's enough for Derpy. Kind of maybe dances a little bit too much, actually just a little too much party to save, and then her body, and then she's up, and then the pumpkin pops up, lift a face, and then this will fall down. See how that's just like in one stroke. You can do that with an arrow. You gotta go, oh, whoa, and it's like that becomes, to me, a little bit too messy. That's a little personal choice. We got this, and we got a little stump or something. Because it'll all be silhouettes, it should look okay. And then yeah. And then they all kind of like look at her and be like, oh. Ah. And then they all turn and run. Okay, almost there. If I can draw my line here where I want it. Or not. Okay. Here. So they're gone. And then we get a close-up of Derpy's body like this. And then what is that out there? And then she kind of maybe like goes down a little bit. I'm in edit mode. Can I select all of this, please? Scale Z. So I can get a little bit of a squish down. Draw. And then she kind of shakes a little bit. And then we get the pop-up of let's erase this part. It's obviously we need to now add her head back in. And then she's like, whoa, okay. Whoa. Oh. And then I don't know how this will work. Maybe we just kind of move her eyes back in or something. I'm able to have individual pupils if I want to. So I can do something like that, which kind of looks and then kind of looks back. Let me go into sculpt mode here. Okay. So that's going to be easier than trying to redraw it. And then that'll be end. Okay. So first we lost a couple of the frames of her doing the knife part. So I'll have to redraw that part, but everything else is now in here. And that should be enough. Obviously, it's not gonna hopefully go over in a minute, but yeah, I think if I do everything pretty quickly, there are, how many shots are there? Obviously, I'll have the other one, but this kind of counts as 1.5 shots, as like we're slowly getting from here to here. This could be 1. This could be 1B. it's supposed to be the same. Like to have like this be a smaller micro version of the hill, and then have this one kind of pop up from the bottom, and the other one kind of disappears. Like this first one disappears somewhere, and replace it with this one. Because I have to think like everything's gonna be a solid object, and I'll be playing with light, so it won't be a traditional cartoon. So I'm having to think about the story and then also apply it to how would I do this with shadow puppets. Is gonna be a major hassle. Well, that's gonna be the fun of it, is trying to be more creative than I have to be to figure this stuff out. Of like, how do I do this, and then lots more stuff. So 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's only 7 shots, and they're not, and especially I'll be able to animate them just by kind of taking them and being like, whoa, I'm animating, and then doing like certain passes where I can do like a movement positional pass and then do a rotational pass. So I can do stuff like that where I can have, because I don't think I can like move them and rotate them at the same time, because that's maybe I think there's one of them that's like, yeah, you can kind of do both. This gizmo lets you do scale, position, and rotation at the same time, but I don't think I can do all those at the same time. Like, this is just rotation and then up and down and then rotate, which is a little bit complicated of a gizmo to like kind of select the right one you want, but that's why it's like easier to kind of pick one of them. And then in animation, it's you're gonna be playing with the dope sheets or the graph editor for a lot of this. Look at my R&D objects. I have this object which has all of the graph editor animation. You can see I have all these individual keyframes, but inside of those keyframes has the exact positions of everything. So they're color coded, where this is the Y Euler rotation. So you can see that it's got to rotate at that point and then kind of be kind of still. So it's going to different values. If I know SFM or other 3D animation, this is how this all kind of gets plotted down. I can see it's going to rotate a little bit downward. At this point, it's going to rotate, kind of get kind of weird, and then kind of be kind of still, and then it's going to ramp up. And I can see that there's going to be a big change here with all these values. It's going to go from like negative or 10 to like negative 50 at at this point. So it's all plotted out, and you just gotta have an eye for like figuring and like kind of dissecting like what's going on. So as it goes across time, what's the value of it? And so I'll be able to kind of do one aspect at a time where I can do the rotation. I can do this line at one time and then select the X or Y or Z position of them at certain points too. So at least I can tell from here that it's going to do a bunch of rotaties as it moves along the X and Y axes. That'll be these guys. You can see that it's slowly moving across the X, this X position over. So it's not that bad when you kind of dissecting it. It's like, okay, I can tell what the values is kind of going downward a bit, which means that it's plotted to the 3D position. And I was able to animate this in real time, so if I want to, I can add a little bit more maybe. I can have her kind of maybe, what should we do? Have her maybe go back or something. Or not. Just added a whole bunch of keyframes and then it's just kind of got locked in there. It's possible that there's something else going on. Yeah, they're locked. Okay. That'll do it. Can't have that. So just added a bunch of points and that should be animatable. So if I need to do, I can do that as my animation. So when I do my going off my storyboards, I know that I don't have to strictly animate it, but I can do this kind of real-time animation. That's I take a couple of takes and it'll probably be like acting where I have to figure out like what kind of rotations I want to do here. It does kind of get a little stroby there, so sorry why that happens. I'm not sure, but it's mostly works. I think at some points here I can see here that it breaks here. So if I remove this keyframe and this keyframe, then that might fix it. So a little bit of cleanup in some cases, but overall, if it means that I can, only have to fix 1 or 2 keyframes here and there, rather than having to keyframe all of that, all of this natural style motion, I'm happy. And I got this more natural, kind of like look at her, kind of wiggle, kind of motion. If I see something that breaks, I can look at this frame and then see that there might be some keyframe here that breaks it, and then it fixes. So it's not that bad. Hopefully when we get to it, but able to make these more natural looking animations for what I need. Should be able also to do any kind of motion I need, so I can do a flip on the x-axis or z-axis. Wiggle, wiggle. So that's probably how I'll animate, but I wanted to obviously start this Halloween animation early, because I know how complicated this is gonna get. It's probably what I'll do probably in the next couple streams or so will be to draw a bunch of the assets that I'll need, probably in grease pencil. Well, at least draw them in grease pencil first to get the idea that I want, and then I'll probably think about if I want to do them in polygon form like this, because this is made out of polygons. Because with the R&D, I was trying to figure out at the beginning of the stream, I was trying to figure out whether or not I needed what to work with the screen. Where is the screen? So I'd say it works best with this. Style, there we go. So again, we can see that the polygon version works with the screen the best, but if I'm gonna now get rid of the screen and then add it in post, basically, I'm wondering if I should. So I can do either now, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess it depends on when we get to it, whether or not you like one version or the other. Obviously, it'll be dependent on the style of it, whether or not you want it to be more. Because I can make it more polygonal. We're having like, you can see like the edges here be. You can see that this, to me, is a sharp angle, and then it goes to different points here. Or if I make this all black and then have little outlines, you'll be able to maybe get some more these weird taper points or these kind of extra points there. This isn't what it's gonna look like. I'm thinking of having it be the same kind of style where it'll be black and then have holes in it. Maybe color some certain aspects like your hair. And then adding a whole bunch of different effects to make it look in post-production to make it look like it's actually in front of its screen. So it's good. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot of work, regardless. Even if I do one or the other. Yeah. I got time, but probably don't want to waste your time drawing the same grease pencil thing again. I guess, do you guys like this so far? You just don't remember what the stabby part was like. Anything you might want to see change or anything? So I could add more shots, but I'm also kind of scared to make sure. I probably would want to go through with what I got first and then think about making more shots. If I want it to be a shorts, then YouTube shorts are restricted to be less than, let's just say, 59 seconds. So it's like I can't really go too far with any kind of adding new concepts and stuff into this. There is a lot going on, so it's probably just enough to like kind of be cute, and then it'll just be the aesthetics of it that'll make or break this. If I can get this to look as realistic to a shadow puppet show as possible, then I'll be happy with that. And then yeah, so the story could be whatever. Obviously this isn't Oscar worthy, but it's like it works. Looks like okay, good. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that I want it to look a certain way, and either it's technology wise and it's impossible to do it in Blender in the way that I want it to look, or I'm just doing the wrong buttons. Because even if I just change even one of these buttons, you know, it'll completely change everything of how everything looks. So there could be something to it where I'm just clicking the wrong buttons. Wait, turn this back off. And then yeah, so either way, I'm glad I did all this R&D to figure out what works and what doesn't. And before I, you know, if I started to like wanted to animate a certain way and then halfway realizing like, oh wait, this can't work because of the screen that I want won't render out the way that I want it to, then yeah, it'll be a waste of time. So the part then what I should do is maybe move this. If I move this behind, it's now behind the screen, and then render it. Yeah, now it's just black, but that might be because the screen should be using nodes. If I turn off nodes, then that goes back there. but it should be using a cream kind of low transparency. If I go further beyond, does it? I'm rendering this out. Yeah. This is what I mean. It's like I'm either I don't know what I'm doing, and or it's not possible, and or something's wrong. And it could be one of any of these things that maybe someone who knows what's going on might be able to tell what I'm doing wrong, but I don't know. It's probably one of these. These can halfway fix it, but blend kind of works. Hashed works the best, but also I just don't like how grainy it is. See, when I kind of move it around, it gets all kind of sandy kind of texture. And so if I do use a grease pencil, then all of it will look, I guess I could just move her. All of it will look like this. And so it's like, well, I want it like that. Or is this kind of weirdness there? Yeah. Stroke. So it could work, but and then render this out. Yeah. So it looks okay, but then every grease pencil stroke object looks like this, and it's like, do I want that as my final picture? Whereas this will look the best, but also, I don't know. I guess just to figure out what's the best thing, rather than like, I want to learn grease pencil. Because a lot of this was like, I want to make a grease pencil thing, and then it turned into like, what if I do shadow puppets? And so I always run into these problems where it's like, I want to do a thing, but then I combine too many different technologies, and apparently a lot of these don't mix well enough that actually it does make sense why it's hashed, but also doesn't make sense why the polygon doesn't become the same kind of, why is there no texture on this one, you know? Meh. Turn on my lights. Oh yeah, it should have been rendered. They were just invisible in the now view. Turn off my gizmos. That's still there. There we go. So, yeah. What's up with that? What's up with that? Whereas over here, I think that's just like how the resolution of it is, but definitely not as bad as that. So, oh well. So I think what I'll do is draw it in grease pencil as a kind of like a template, and then go through and polygon eyes it. But that's only because I want it to look okay through a screen. But if I don't want to use a screen because the way that it looks isn't that good, then I might as well. Oh yeah, here's what it looked like with the shadow. The problem is that this shadow doesn't have the, her hair should be, I want her hair to like have the color, inherit that color. There's so many different things. I was like, I want this to happen, but it's like I don't know how, and I don't know if it's possible. That's like I spend so much time trying to make it work, and it's like I'm not even sure if it is possible. And I was like, great, you know, it's like it should be. I've seen stuff. I've seen some pictures, or at least it's hard to know whether or not if other people use their own tricks around it as well. So I just see a render, it'd be like, oh look, I see like a stained glass window that has the light going through a stained glass window, and all of the pretty colors are getting cast, and then there's like a little uh, shining light on the ground, and the ground has the stained glass colors. No, the colors are intact. It's like I tried that and it didn't work. But I might have been using an image texture, which sort of does and doesn't work some of the time. I have to like add emissions or something to make it kind of glowy. But even then, like it should, I'd like it to be transparent, but it's becoming opaque. And that's a lot of my woes is like, how do I make this transparent? And it's like I put a transparent, I used a transparent shading method, BSDF, into here. Like this is literally called the transparent BSDF. So why is it solid and it doesn't cast a shadow that's yellow? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think I'll call it good here. I don't think I have much more to say about any of this. Probably have lots more stuff to talk about in closer time anyway. So we'll call it good here, and then next week we will continue on this. I'll finish up the storyboard, get that all look hopefully a little bit more pleasing, a little bit more clean up, and yeah, get that other shot back in. I can look through the video of the stream and see what I did. Maybe we'll overlay it and recreate it or something. Make everything look a little nicer. I'll look up what an owl looks like as well. So that'll be important. And then yeah, once we start making assets, I think I have some open suggestions from you guys. Maybe we can do like suggestions for different costumes or pretend who the different characters are in the like in the town shots. Like who would these guys be? What their costumes could be? I could have you guys help me with that, maybe. Maybe down the line. I'll appreciate that. But yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, well, I've had Blender crash less times than you'd think, but definitely when doing anything too much, like adding too many things. Like I know that if I put things into billions, then it's like, whoa, that's too much, and it's more of a like how much my computer can handle, rather than more likely than what Blender itself could handle. There's no with like Flash or something that could definitely reach that limit within Flash itself pretty fast. And that's why it probably explodes. Because like I don't imagine like drawing 50 million squares it adds 4-point polygons is actually gonna crash. Yeah, Zoom might have a little bit higher ceiling to what he can do. But I think just 2D animated in Blender definitely has enough features to feel okay. But I definitely wouldn't say it's professional ready, Like there's still enough stuff that's like, oh, I want to do this feature, or can I use this? And it's like, nope, that's not in there yet. And it's like, that makes sense because, Blender's a 3D animation software, so to also expect it to be the most feature heavy 2D software as well is like, that seems kind of silly. But what it is like I would always come up with like when I was learning, I was trying to figure out like what can it do, and I was like, oh, but wouldn't it be cool if it did masks? Like, wouldn't it be cool if you can do, be able to mask things and like have two objects, kind of clip each other? I was like, there's no way that Blender can do it, and it's like it can, and it's like, oh, cool. Well, alrighty. But yeah, Blender strictly for 2D animation, I mean, there's no way for it to rival Toon Boom still. The amount of like adding, like rigging and making builds and puppets, there's no way to outclass Toon Boom's build puppet department. Just the amount of like complexity with nodes and like able to do way too many features with it. There's no way of learning to outmatch that. But for what it is, it's a free version of light version of Flash, basically, is how I would probably describe it the best. Blender's free, you can download it today. You can keep adding new features and new versions every other month or so. it's getting crazy just how you really can't keep up with Blenders and how to keep adding more and more versions and improving things. So I'm sure, if you look at this in a couple months or so, all of this, all the UI and the interface will be completely different to the newest version. So that's always good. That's always nice to see that they're really developing it, Because with other softwares, I might just develop and forget it. And it's like, well, better to use mods and, make, use other people's modifications to add in the features that should have been there, but the developers weren't working on it to constantly update it. So that's good that they're still working on it. But it means that you're kind of testing an unfinished product as well. So if something is wrong, then it's like, well, should I go back a feature? Should I go back a version to make that feature that was stable before, or wait till it might get fixed or not? If it's like a bug. So yeah, but then you miss out on all the new features. So, and then somehow, yeah, My Little Pony was animated in like in super early version of Flash all the way through for the whole run. Is just mind blowing. And you might have seen that TikTok user who uploads a bunch of those behind the scenes animator videos, and watch a bunch of those, and those are very insightful to be able to hear like, wow, because it's really the limitation of Flash is like you can't. There was like a huge in the Equestria games. There's like the shot of like having an entire crowd, and you wanted a whole bunch of ponies in the crowd, and like wanting to add every puppet in, wanting to add every character in was like too much for that old version of Flash. Even if you probably put it into like new version of Flash, it would probably still break just because of that probably ceiling or something about it. It's just like it's not able to actually handle that much information at the same time, or especially that Flash, I think, probably thinks about every single asset at this on an object level or a symbol level, rather than like taking a screenshot of what is actually visible there. It probably just like tries to keep track of like every symbol's mathematical property, rather than trying to simplify it into like what you can see and all the different clipping and stuff and figuring that out. So like we need times that by 100 or more. It's like, yeah, it's not able to actually process 100 times how much symbols and stuff it's trying to figure out. But whether or not it's actually trying to figure out every symbols and every sub frame inside of that, then that'll be a lot. Because usually with puppet builds is that if you want to be able to swap, frame swap stuff, you would want to have this frames be inside of that symbol. So like a mouth would have every mouth shape as a sub symbol or a sub frame inside of that symbol. So you would have like maybe like a couple hundred if you're doing, puppet pony stuff for like so long that you're gonna create a library of a whole bunch of frames inside of there, and each eyeball would have its own blink cycle as well. That would be different individually considered, So eyes are pretty complex with every aspect of it. You would have like the people just color the iris, the highlight, the eyelash, the eyebrow, the cheeks, all those parts, and then times that by 2, and then multiply that by every subframe inside of each of those, it's like, whoa. And sometimes they have if you don't delete it, they would have the entire rotation inside of there as well. So times everything for the front view times the 3/4 view times the profile view, back view, and times that by the opposite side of that, the other profile, and it's like, whoa. So it's like, jeez, the amount of information just in one puppet, and then kind of times that by all of the puppets. It's like, yeah, something that's using 32 bits processing isn't able to render all of that, or be able to process all of that. So I can see like when Blender is having to do like much more complicated stuff and like all the lighting and geometry and stuff and positions and shadings and stuff like that. Yeah, that also adds up to, but I don't expect lines to be its bane. Where just drawing a bunch of different strokes shouldn't be enough to have the program crash. But yeah, let's see. Hi, Cookie. Gotta get going. We'll be here till next week. See you again week after. Okay. Well, thank you so much for modding this week's, and hope to see you again in 2 weeks then. Thank you, Cookie. Appreciate it. But yeah, I probably can cut this off now if there's not enough. Anything else I need to talk about? I don't know. Yeah, I've just been tired recently, so seeing all this break inside Blender and have it crash like 3 times is a little disappointing. But hopefully I'll learn from this and figure things out. So yeah, next week I will continue on this, get the storyboard done, and then we'll do some more R&D of what style you would like to see. I could probably do a side-by-side of the grease pencil, what I was thinking with the polygon version, and then, because I don't need the screen if I'm gonna hopefully be able to cheat it, so I could do either. So yeah, it'll be up to how you guys like it. And I guess for the aesthetic choice, you know, I could do kind of maybe some objects that would be better with a grease pencil. Is with the polygon version. Yeah, we'll talk about this later, but probably the polygon version will have the benefit of it being more polygon. You probably can make it more smooth, but I don't know if I want to do too much more processing on that anyway. Well, yeah. Hello. Good to see you. But yeah, I think I'll probably end it here. Now this will be a short stream, but honestly just doing a couple storyboards and kind of having Blender rage quit itself out of not doing this project. was probably the most entertainment out of this. So, but yeah, I think I'll end it here, and then next week we'll figure this out. So stay tuned for streams in Spooky Month. So yeah, have a good rest of your September, and we'll see you in October. So yeah, bye guys, see you later.